Now I want you all to listen up very carefully because I have a scientific fact backed up by science. Well, I'm not exactly sure who did the study or where I read it, but it's very sciencey. Scientific. It's impossible for a man or a woman to use a brand new tape measure without first of all finding out how far they can extend it before it collapses under its own weight. Am I right or am I right? Is this you? Let me know down below. See? That's science. G'day folks, Uncle Knackers here from DIY for Knuckleheads and welcome to episode 5 of my workshop Hacks, Tips and Tricks video series. In today's video we'll be looking at the humble tape measure and hopefully I'll be able to share with you some quick and amazing tape measuring tips that I've learnt along the way. But first, before we do anything, if you want to see more videos just like this one, do yourself a favour and make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Oscar Sierra Foxtrot, did you hear all that? Over? Yeah, roger that mate, loud and clear. Over. Now, don't tell me you haven't done that before, because I know you have. Yes, you. Okay, let's kick off this series of tape measuring tips with what I think is the #1 reason that bamboozles a lot of new tape owners. You've gone out and you've bought yourself your very first tape measure, you bring it home, go to use it, only to find that the end feels a little wobbly. And you think to yourself, oh no, I've bought myself a dodgy tape. I better take it back. Don't take it back. There's a reason for that wobble, and this is what it is. The amount of wobble you'll find on the end of your tape is the actual thickness of the hook. And the reason for that is that it doesn't matter if you're doing an outside measurement, like that, where you hook the tape over the end of the piece that you're trying to measure, or you're doing an inside measurement, like that, where you're lining up the outside of the hook with the edge of the piece that you're trying to measure, the measurements are going to be the same. Now, hopefully you can now understand that if the end of the tape was rigid and didn't have any play or wobble, only one of those measurements would be accurate in relation to the marks on that tape, either the inside measurement or the outside measurement. The other measurement is going to be out by the thickness of the hook. Now here's a really good tip for marking a fast and straight line by using your tape measure as a marking gauge. Now this trick is used by carpenters and drywallers all over the world. For instance, say we want to cut 100mm or 4 inches off the bottom of this door. Grab your tape measure and line the 100mm or 4 inches up with the bottom of the door, and then with your index finger and your thumb, line them up with the 100 or the 4 inches. Get your pencil, place it hard up against the hook, and away you go. Too easy. And just between you and me, I reckon that turned out pretty good. Now if you don't need to be particularly accurate with your line, you can use your tape measure as a straight edge. Not too bad, and sometimes that's all you need. And if by some chance your tape measure has the hook that also extends not only from the bottom but also above the tape, you can turn your tape over and that'll give you a stronger, straighter line. Now this next tip is a little ninja tip that I like to use to help identify my tape measure. If you work on a big building site where there may be plenty of tradesmen there who could have a similar tape measure to yours, to help identify yours I suppose you could just paint it a different colour. But what I like to do is I like to go a bit more incognito, a little more ninja, and I'll show you what I do. Grab your tape and extend that blade until it's almost run its full length. Now once you get toward the end of the tape, just simply turn the tape over, grab a permanent marker like a Sharpie and write your name and sign it. And there you have it. There's my name, there's my signature, and a nice little reminder notice. Just don't do this down the other end of the tape within the first couple of meters because those measurements are used a lot more often than these ones, which means this will wear off quicker. Speaking of tape measures, how's this? I was on the couch the other day, just relaxing, watching a bit of telly, when my 10-year-old son comes up to me, within about 5 feet, and starts to tap me on the face with the end of a tape measure repeatedly. And I said to him, "What the hell are you doing?" And he says, "I'm just measuring your patience, Dad." I said, "You cheeky little..." The next tip I have is that you may have noticed on the end of your tape, on the end of the hook, you can see a slot. Now that slot can be found on virtually every tape on the market, and it's a very handy feature, as essentially it acts as a second pair of hands, which is great when you're working by yourself. All you need to do is to place that slot over the head of a nail or a screw, which locks the tape in place, and you're good to go. Another thing to remember with the slot on the end of the tape measure is that when it goes over the head of the nail, the end or the hook of the tape measure actually finishes up where you want to measure from. If that slot wasn't there, the tape will be sitting out away from the line. That way your measurement won't be as accurate as it would have been like that. Now in a pinch, you can even use your tape measure as a compass. Simply place the hook over the nail, just like that, work out your radius, and then away you go. Not too bad at all. A little glitch here and there, only because I was trying to get around the camera. But apart from that, that works pretty good. Now the next tip is great for when you're working up high on a ladder. Now the first thing you need to do is to go out and buy yourself a couple of those really strong rare earth magnets. I've got a big one. Oi, enough of that. A big magnet, and I also went out and bought myself a smaller magnet, which I just simply attach to my nail bag on one of the rivets, just like that. So if you find yourself working up high on a ladder or some scaffolding and you drop your square nail or screw, just grab your magnet, place it on the end of the tape measure and retrieve your object. Now this is great for guys like me who have a dicky knee, because the less times we have to get up and down a ladder, the better. And I've also seen guys put double-sided tape on the end as well, which is great for retrieving a drop pencil. There you go. How easy was that? It actually makes retrieving drop tools a bit of fun. Now this next tip is really handy for doing inside measurements. You'll find on a tape, most tapes at least, they'll have a measurement down here. Mine says 3.5 inches or 89 millimeters, and what that refers to is the actual size of the tape measure case. The main problem you face when you're doing an inside measurement, like between these two sides, is when you're trying to work out the exact measurement at this point. Now because we have a bend in our tape here, it's really hard to actually see exactly what that measurement is going to be. Now the solution is really easy. Just get your tape, you know that it's 3.5 inches or 89 millimeters, press it hard up against one side and then run the tape out until it gets to the other side, and then just simply lock the blade in place. With the case locked, we now know that we are 366 millimeters to the edge of our case. Now we know the case is 89 millimeters wide, so if we add the 89 to the 366, we get the distance between the two sides. How easy is that? Now the next tip I'm going to show you is just a bit of a fun tip, and I'm going to call it the guess your age tip. Pretty technical. Now all you need to do first of all is bend your tape in half, just like that. Now this is where the magic happens. Get the end of your tape, the hook, and then line that up with the inch increments. So 97 is the year 1997, 99 is the year 1999, 101 is the year 2001. Now we want to go up to the current year, which is the year 2000, and I think that's about the 10-foot mark. Okay, we've come all the way up to 2019, and now here is 2020. So what we want to do is turn that over, pinch it together, and lock that in place. So with our tape locked in down the other end at 2020, say I'm 92 years old. Look pretty good for 92. If we turn the tape over, I was born in 1928. How cool's that? Now I was born in 1966, so if we turn this tape over, you'll see that I am 54 years of age. How amazing is that? Is there nothing that these tape measures can't do? So after all those little gems, I reckon that deserves a great tip, knackers! Now if you want to see more videos just like the one you've just seen, make sure you click on one of my playlists, which will be popping up over there anytime soon. Alright, well I hope you found that selection of tape measuring tips handy, and if you did, a big thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. I'm in Australia. Alrighty, well after all that, I think I really need a cup of tea. So till next time, be good, be safe, and I'm out of here. Cheers.